Saying good morning to the listeners, good morning to the viewers. Of course, welcome to today's edition of To The Point, Friday, the 10th day of July, 2026. Listeners and viewers via social media platforms, the usual salutations goes out to you. Hope all is well with you. Whatever part of the world you're viewing and listening to us this morning, welcome. Let me say welcome back to, of course, still trying to deviate how I'm going to say it.
No, you're trying to deviate. You just say it. How you know it, just say it. That's all you had to say, because it has not changed.
Let's just say good morning to Pastor Standford.
I'm going
to get over it one of these good days. Everyone's going to get over it. You know?
I'm sure there are people who are still struggling with that too.
Trying to leave out the pastorship. You know, it's probably a good way to get the conversation going. Pastor Simon, welcome once again.
No, it's good to be here.
It's a good way to get the conversation rolling off. I'm assuming folks will be having the thoughts going through their mind. Has Pastor Simon still a pastor?
Yes.
In one way or the other.
Right.
Is he now fully into the politics? Has he deviated 100% from the church? I think that's a way to break the ice of the conversation.
That's a good way. I agree. And thank you. And it's good to be here again. It's always good to sit and chat with you. And good morning to all of your listeners. Let me make it abundantly clear. My call on my life as a pastor, that remains on me. And I will not be anything else until I die. That's a call on my life. Okay. That will not change. My retiring from the St. George's Baptist Church, which is filled now by Pastor Richard Beckford, a very capable young man, I must say, and doing very well, is because I've spent over 30 years there in the church, and I spent 25 years over pastoring, another 5 spent as the interim pastor of the church, was that I felt there comes a time when you need to make that change, because the leadership that have emerged, that you have been working towards. 15 years I spent planning, and really 7 years ago, really putting a lot, 3 years ago, really putting more into it, and saying to God, okay, when are you sending this person to relieve me? Because I feel I reached a point where somebody else had built it, somebody else needs to take it to another level, and having Pastor Richard Beckford there, so that change come. But in doing that change, my leadership knew years ago that I was leaving. I was there between 57 and 60. They knew. It was planned. They knew I was exiting. That was clear. So in exiting, what happens to me? Now, being involved in politics has never been part of that equation and that plan. It has been. The question was asked at the church and a militia, okay, so what would you do? I said, I'm going to Emmanuel Church, where I started. That's where I got saved. That's where I was called into ministry. That's a small church in California, on California Road. That's where I grew up. And I knew where I was going, because I was also, remember, I was pastoring St. George's Baptist Church, pastoring Emmanuel Baptist Church, and Rose Hill Baptist Church. 3 churches.
All right.
Right? So I knew already I was starting the work even before I got there. So 2 years I started being the pastor of the church. So the transition going there was already done. It wasn't something I have to try to do. The Emmanuel Church knew I was coming. We had a plan. We knew the things that we were going to do. So I moved there, working with the church. I didn't want them to call me to be the pastor. No. I came there. They don't have a pastor, already doing the work, and I took the responsibility of providing leadership for that church. It's just about 35 of us there at the church, but it's beautiful. It's a place I grew up. So it's building now. It's rebuilding and building that small church up. So that's what I spend a lot of my time doing all the role of a pastor. I still do all the things that I do, the wedding, the counseling, whatever I have to do, I still do that. So with that, when people say that I'm no longer a pastor, I want to say to them, that's have absolutely no truth to it. The part they find difficult to understand, how could he pastor and be involved in politics full time?
So basically you're saying there's not really any retirement part.
I retired from St. George's Baptist. Yes, but not from ministry.
From ministry, okay.
No. Okay. So like one commentator asked me, he said the question, well, you are now fully into politics, your move, and the Bible speak, you shouldn't be that way. And I said to him, well, Joseph was the prime minister of Egypt. Was that a problem? And he looked at me and said, okay. Because people must understand, if you go through the Old Testament, the way that the Old Testament was set up, that the king was you had the prophets, but the king reports to God. That's why God hold him accountable, and therefore he was ruling the country, yet still have the responsibility to ensure that he led the people of God according to the word of God, and he should fall in line with the word of God. So there is no division. When people bring this thing up about one should can't serve two masters.
But I guess so. Don't continue. But you may understand when folks have difficulty understanding the comparison, making the comparison. You go back to biblical times. Then folks may understand it from that fact. We know we're in a different era. We're in a different world right now. Folks' vision of things are completely different, in some way or the other. In terms of watching in someone who has been showing their life at one particular direction. Now it's sort of swung to another direction. Although in your part you're saying it's not completely. You're still balancing both, doing the pastoral duties, and of course you into the political realm also. My question to you is, how is it that you're able to balance both as it stands now, given the attention where it has to be given? Are you more given the attention to the political side or the pastoral role now with another church?
I don't say given at the moment. I haven't said given more. The full attention is to the church. All the function and what needs to happen in the church is happening. I think God have blessed me with a great ability. Over the years, I've always done multiple things. I'm not the person who focus on one particular, and the people who know me know that. For instance, remember I was pastoring the church full-time. I was president of the credit union. I was also a chairman of the bank, and I was also on a regional board. All right, and I also was engaged politically at that time, being involved in a political party. If you go back to 2008, before when I was involved in the NDC, I was pastoring my church. I was chairman of the board. I was also heading the credit leadership in the credit union. So these roles that I have and running my company, it's normal for me. For most people, it may be abnormal. But going back to the point you make about how do you balance that, I agree. There is a whole lot of balancing comes in, because you cannot bring politics into the church. You may be politically inclined and politically, but once you take, because there are people in the church who belong from different political parties and who support different people who may not say none at all. You have to be neutral there. People know where you stand, people know where you are, but you cannot bring that into the church. If I did that before 2008 when NDC won, I would have destroyed the St. George's Baptist Church. I've maintained that balance without bringing my political views or what I stand for, political or the political party I support, into the church. You must balance that, because in doing so, you want to show that you as a believer too have the ability to be honest with what you do. Speak honestly with persons, but at the same time be able to transcend the political divide and go above the fray and show what you are made of as a person, and not bringing it all together and create a soup that people can look at you and say, you see, these politicians again. They're doing one and saying the other. I've always maintained who I am is who I am. So the fact of balancing, being involved now as a candidate, which is very different for the DP, for which I never did before. And that decision did not come out of planning to retire and go into that. That decision was made in January. Final decision was made in January of this year. How am I going to do that? I decided, okay, I believe that I want to help. How can I help? Not just staying in the background and in the shadows and writings that people do or making comments. I decided, listen, front and center. This is what I'm going to do, because I believe I can contribute, I can make a difference for my country, and therefore I will do it with total clarity and being able to still maintain that balance and live my Christian life. You know something amazing? I really enjoy this. I'm really enjoying this. Why? Because I see going out and visiting house to house, I find myself spending a lot of time doing more ministry, praying for people. talk with people about issues they have with their family, counseling persons that are doing that. So the both have merged in a way that I am surprised of. I didn't expect that. I feel very much when I'm doing it, it's like witnessing the same principle, going out and tell person about Jesus Christ. You're going out and tell persons now about the political party that you represent and what you want to do for the country. But I find myself doing both as I go out. Interesting.
All right.
But
it's interesting to note. But Pastor, with you for a break, let's take it. When we come back, I want to get into the conversation of DPM and their core values in terms of what they stand for, in terms of the development of Grenada,
right?
With the possibility of them getting into power and taking over the rim if it so happens.
Right.
I want to get into a conversation of that when we come back.
No problem.
Stay with us. Hey, folks, it's To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We'll be right back after the short break. Don't touch it out.
Grenada, are you ready?
Old Mass is back, and it's bigger and funnier than ever. St. George's Lions Club, Spice Mass Corporation, and Glenlec present Old Mass 2026 at the Grenada Boys Secondary School on Sunday, July 19th from 3 p.m. Bring the whole family for an afternoon of laughs, local entertainment, exciting prizes, and a special appearance by the Carnival Queen contestants. Tickets are $40 for adults and $15 for children. Available from any Lions or Leo member, Grenadian Optical, and Clear Vision. July 19th at GBSS promises humorous antics and infectious laughter for the whole family. Old Mass, we not giving up. See you then. This advertisement sponsored by Demerara Mutual Life. I'm with Dem.
GBN Massology is back. We're officially on the road to spice up the Carnage 3.0, and it all starts here. Live from GBN Studios every Friday at 1:30 p.m. Streaming across GBN platforms, bringing pure energy, culture, and spice mass vibes straight to your screen. Hosted by Charlton, powered by Graphic Sound System, featuring fresh faces and seasoned stars. Massology is what the culture takes center stage. WhatsApp 407-8458 now to secure your spot on Massology. And don't miss the repeat broadcast at 8:30 p.m. This is Massology, the heartbeat of Spice Mass. Don't miss it. 30 artists, one stage, one champion. GBN Spice Up the Carnage 3.0 is here. After crowning Warner in 2024 and Dreadline in 2025, the search is on for Grenada's next breakout star. The competition kicks off Thursday, July the 23rd with the quarterfinals. All 30 artists battling for glory. That is the semifinals on July the 30th before the grand finals August 6th. Come to the Carnage, cheer on your favorite artists, enjoy unforgettable entertainment, win tickets for major Spice Mass events, and so much more. GBN Spice Up the Carnage 3.0.
Powered by Flo, Huggins, and Answer Coatings, with support from Grenada Film Company, Jambalasi Grenada, and Spice Mass Corporation.
Life doesn't stand still. It moves. It grows. It asks you to believe in what's next. Your first car. Owning your home. The business you build. The future you choose to invest in. Life moves in steps. When you're ready to take the next one, we're here to help you move forward with banking solutions designed for life. From vehicle financing and mortgages to education savings, credit solutions, and support for your growing business. Republic Bank, ready for life, every step.
welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, once again. It's To The Point, Classic Radio GBN TV with me this morning. I'm still going to keep saying it. Pastor, of course, Standford Simon with me this morning, representing the DPM on today's edition of To The Point. Pastor Simon, before I took the break, I did mention to you, I want to get into the conversation with you, with DPM's core value for moving Grenada forward. When I say core values, what does DPM see, of course, in terms of their vision for moving Grenada forward as a political party in waiting to govern this country sometime in the future? What is that from your standpoint? You being part of the core membership,
right?
What is that?
First, we believe that's important that people be involved in the democratic process, and we have seen so many times where parties get into power and they forget who get them there until election is due, and then they come back and say, okay, these are the things we will do for you. But really, you have said that before, that do not happen. And think about bringing persons into the discussion, into the dialogue, from the community level, in saying, okay, I as a representative need to be able to go back to my people and say, okay, these are the things that you asked me to do. These are the things that I'm doing, not just once every 5 years. But we believe as a core value, we should be doing that regularly with our people and helping them to understand what we do, be questioned by them and to be grilled by them and hold you accountable. It is critically important because I think a lot of the times what happened, we are not accountable because, going back, and I want to bridge that to going back from my experience within the Baptist faith. I mean, when we meet from members meeting at our church, the members ask you and tell you what they feel, what they think, what they're seeing in the church, and you have to answer.
Yes.
It is one of the core values of holding the leadership and the political party in power to be accountable. Second, healthcare. We believe is a right. We believe that's a right of every citizen. That's important for us to be able to build a healthcare system. And going back to the primary healthcare, there are a number of our units across the country, clinics that are closed. Some of them you don't know why they're closed when you ask the question. But we believe if you put more resources into primary healthcare, you'd have less people going to the general hospital. And that means really making the policy that you develop the primary healthcare system in such a way where doctors and nurses, it means you have to hire more people, and people say you don't have the resources. Government always find resources to do what it believes in.
Yeah.
And I believe, and we believe very clearly, that primary healthcare is a right and for which government should put more resources into it. And many of our people who leave their local area because there is not primary health care to go to the general hospital, which then become a problem for them because they have to wait long hours there, that need to change. So we believe that is important and critical for the development of the country and the way that we do that. That's
let me just tap into you one minute. On what you're saying, sir, I think a majority of political parties in Grenada have mentioned. Going back to the NDC of 2008, going to the NMP in their both firms that they have mentioned. I don't think anyone has never said the things that they're going to do. DPM now is saying that. When are we going to get that shift in the conversation, sir?
When DPM have the control of leadership.
When are we going to get that shift? When I say that shift in terms of conversation, I mean, I cannot understand where I'm coming from.
No, I totally agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I totally agree with you. We have failed miserably as a country in getting that done. I remember the previous government was working on an insurance scheme for healthcare insurance. I think it was stopped by this present administration. I can't tell you exactly where it is or what is happening. They would have to explain that. Yeah. But we believe that was a great initiative by the NNP government and the leadership by Dr. Mitchell to be able to put something in place, to be able to look after when persons now go to the general hospital. Now there is money available to them to be able, they can put forward a card and we all pay into it, and where you can get medication and where persons can be taken care of. I totally agree. Yeah. And that is something I think that needs to be done. Now you have to look at it. what is it we really want to do for our people? It cannot be lip service. We just listen, it just cannot be. We had enough of that. You have to really look within yourself as an individual and decide, as a political party, what is it you're offering? Is it the same? Then there is absolutely no sense I'm part of this. There is no use for me being a part of DPM, because it is all the same. I am saying I'm part of DPM because we believe, and with the leadership of Peter David, we believe that healthcare is critical and there must be a lot of effort, energy, resources put into that, and I'm going back, starting with primary healthcare. I went to Grove Clinic, the polyclinic, about 2 or 3 years ago, and I was shocked. Beautiful building, excellent, really nice. But when you're going, there is no equipment and a lot of things are missing from it. You think that if that polyclinic is well equipped, where they had to pay $6-7 million to well equip it, and you put the proper staffing there, you know how many persons leaving St. Patrick's and St. Mark and St. John will not be at the general hospital because they'll be taken care of there? But you have to put the resources. But God, you have to know, and you have to believe that that is what you want to do the transformation. So I am agreeing with you. It is a problem. Every government have said the same thing and have not done enough. Some they have done. I remember the NMP government. They have worked to refurbish a hospital. They have done some work in getting it done. But there's more to be done. Yeah. And for it to be done, we must be willing to make those hard decisions and decide what is the priority of the government.
You speak of, you mentioned the word a couple of times, and I've also heard from your political leader and other members of the DPM. Involvement in terms of the people. Mm-hmm. How serious is the involvement of the people in politics in Grenada? We don't see we see it because of the political divide that we have in this country. Now it's going 3 ways. Involvement, how critical is that?
It is very critical. Let me tell you how critical it is. Doing the in my yard, and sitting in these small groups and talking with people, you realize that a lot of the answers to our problems, people know what need to be done. You know, the politicians don't have the will to do it, because some of them would impact them politically or impact the political party. Because you see, we're trying to walk this middle road and you can't please everybody, but you have to be the government of all the people. You cannot be the government of some. And the problem we have faced in our country, where political parties get in power and they be the government of some, well, now is our time. Now that we are in power, now only we're trying to hire most of our comrade, our persons who work with us on the campaign. I agree, you have to bring in your own people to help and to consolidate, and I totally agree with that. But when it comes to governing, it's clear that you are government of the people. So there are people who are NMP or NDC or independent. You need not to look at them through the political lens, but the capacity to do the job. And I am very sure if you give these people the chance and do not look at them because they supported a particular political party, they will do an excellent job in the interest of the country if they believe you have the country at heart and you are not treating them as a political football, moving them around because based on the political party in power. I know there are Grenadians who are saying we are better than that. And
so you're saying that the tribalism that we see from time to time is affecting the overall growth of Grenada?
It is. It has affected the overall growth. I know right now there are persons who are not getting job because they believe they support the other side. Not they cannot do the job. I know there are people now are impacted. The business are impacted because they believe or they know that they have supported another political party. Not that they're not capable. Not they do not have the room to be able to continue to do the job that they have been asked to do, but because they are politically affiliated, then they're cut off. And some of the times, the people that they replace them with cannot do the job, don't have the capacity or the bandwidth to do the job. And that in itself, listen, if you think about Singapore, and I go back to them because they have done such a great job, political party change, but the vision of the country continue. That's the place, that's the development that we need to have. That's the reach we need to have. But it means our mindset must change. And for it to change, it means our political directorate, our representative of our different constituents who become ministers of government, mindset have to change. And well, they used to do it too. Listen, you cannot run a government saying that they used to do it too, because when you get there, you need to decide what are you going to do in the interest and development of the country. And that must come through you. It have nobody else to blame for it but the government.
If I start tapping on you and ask you this question also, do you think Grenada can recoup Petit Martinique, all the citizens within the three islands? Are we ready for that level of politics in Grenada, sir?
We're not fully ready, but there are a lot of us that are ready for it.
Well, why are we not? Why are we at this critical stage in our lives, in the world today, where technology and information is so readily available, sir, for where we can understand? But it seems like we're still in that stagnant waters for some reason.
We are. One of the reasons Grenadians don't read. We do not read. Generally, we are a nation who go by hearsay and what somebody tell us, and not going and find out the facts for ourselves and making our decision on the facts. We also, as a people, are still so aligned to our political affiliation that we cannot see outside of that. So despite our political party, our political leaders are doing wrong, we would defend them because we are associated with that political party, and we wouldn't look at them and say that this is wrong. You see, look at the United States. They are heading down that road, right? That road, the United States used to be the Senate and the House. These men, when the Senate is separate from the government, I mean, McCain, these guys, I love them because they would tell the president, and they would say what they mean. When McCain, Obamacare, all the guys, and he was the last man standing to say, listen, will this fail or it go? And he said, no. He said, I will not support that to destroy the lives of millions of Americans because of my political party belief in it. That has changed in Trump. Why? Because now people want to fall in line with the leaders because they're afraid of what the leader will do to them, or they're afraid of losing their political position. Now, in the same way, our democracy is in such a way that the Prime Minister have ultimate power. Right? And our political leaders, when you think about our ministers, they had to be careful how they tread, what they say, and how they say it. And then you have the people who are appointed into the Senate, who then should speak on behalf of the people they represent. But the truth is that people still want to be careful what they say because of the political alignment.
So that's a lack of independence.
Lack of independence. And then bring that further when you go now to the ordinary people who defend, quote unquote, the position of the political party. They defend it blindly. They are not looking at it critically. So it is not helping our country. A nation of only 110,000 persons. Listen, this country can be transformed in 5 years with amazing speed only if you have the will of the leadership to do it. I just want to note this. Go back to the revolution in 4 years, what we did, because they took decisions and they did it in the interest of the country. I am saying that if you get leadership who is taking decision not because they have skin in the game, but because you're doing the right thing, I want to assure you that this country could change. And that is what DPM is offering. We're offering something of transformation. Peter Davis is offering that, and with him come myself, Ali Gill, and others. We are offering that, and that's what we want to give to the country.
Pastor Sam, we drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks. To the Point Classic Radio, GBN TV. We will be right back.
Fly the Jones Suit, it's Lavaman, your host, and it's all about GBN Spice of the Carnat Soca Monarch 2026. We're back and in full effect. Thursday, July the 23rd, it's the quarterfinals. Thursday, July the 30th, it's the semifinals. And August 6th will be the finals. So tell your friend, tell your family, get your crew, get your squad, bring your posse. It's going to be amazing. GBN Spice of the Carnage, Soca Monarch 2026. Love about your host, and trust me, you have to be there because we're the most. Be there, see you there. Tell your friend, tell your family, gather your crew, your squad, and your posse. It's all about the only place to be. GBN Spice of the Carnage, Soca Monarch, Lava Man, Fly the Joan. I roll in with my no good friends, Swoosh.
Powered by Flo, Huggins and Answer Coatings, with support from Grenada Film Company, Jambalasi Grenada and Spice Mass Corporation.
Lost my keys, I lost my phone, and lost my way nowhere. I'm rolling with my no good friends.
Grenada, are you ready for the most epic cool down after Spice Mass? Because on Wednesday, August 12th, the Grenada National Cricket Stadium becomes the home of one massive soca experience. Carnival Encore, Sunset Over White.
Are you ready?
Featuring not one, but two international soca giants, Marshall Montano and the Monk Band. Yes, the band. They'll be joined by some of Grenada's biggest soca superstars for one unforgettable night of music, vibes, and pure island energy. This is the event that keeps the carnival spirit alive. The final celebration, the encore. You don't want to miss. General admission and VIP early bird tickets are sold out online. General admission $150, VIP $550. Get your tickets now at GoToFed.com and the official Sunshine Promotions outlets. Carnival Encore 2026. Sunset Over White, Wednesday, August 12th at the National Cricket Stadium. When the road ends, this is the encore.
Welcome back. We're into another segment of today's edition of To The Point here on Classic Radio GBN. Pastor Simon, welcome back.
Good to be back.
I want to ask you something. There's been a controversial statement going around lately. I wonder if you were able to respond to it for me this morning.
I'm sure I can.
Where the conversation is from, of course, someone who's in the political realm, analyst or whatever they would like to refer to themselves as, made a statement that the DPM is in conversation with of course, another political organization. Is there any truth to that, sir?
I want to say very clearly, there is absolutely no truth to that. I can't understand I could understand his politics.
Yes.
I could understand that part. But the part of trying to tag that there is conversation, and let me go back a little bit to bring some clarity. In a population of 110,000 persons, most of us are friends, right, in relationship. You would have conversation happening with individuals who meet and talk and say, well, what you think or what you feel. That, I'm sure, somewhere or another, that is happening with persons talking across the board with everybody. Yeah. But the official, to say that we are having conversation with another political party to be able to decide the outcome of an election, I have absolutely no truth to it. And I do not know why persons are getting in that frame of mind after you have election. And if no political parties win the majority, then I think one would have no choice but to have conversation. And that would be obvious. But at this point, all of us are into this to win. That's what it is about. It is to win. I tell persons, you think about many of the persons who emerge in Europe in the last 5 years and became president. A lot of them was unknown persons, just entered the race. And even Hungary at the moment, that happened, they were shocked that the young man win. But you understand that the world has changed. politics is no longer the same. There are people out there who want to see something different. They want to have us be different and to be able to deliver service to our people. So the question of, going back to the question you asked, that there is absolutely no truth to it, because I believe that there are individuals who may.
But we say in an official capacity.
Official capacity.
There's no
yes,
truth to
there is absolutely no truth to that, and there may be persons who have their own personal interests to be able to make that a discussion point, because they want to frame this as if the DPM is trying to do something to make one win or one lose. We want to win this thing. We are in it to win. That's what we're doing. At the end of it, let's talk after election. We would have a discussion after the election. But
I also want to know how you feel about it, because sometimes you do hear conversation from time to time. I listen, I view things, and there's a conversation going around that the DPM may still not be in a strong footing. That is understandable.
Yes.
That's understandable. No getting into the realm of politics. New political organizations coming into the realm of politics. There's always been the conversation in Grenada. There's no room for a third party, whether it's true or not. But there is conversation relating to that.
Yes.
Because some folks may always feel, well, there's always been the weight of two political organizations that stand strong in Grenada. All right. Is the DPM willing, in some time or the other, you said after, but collaborating with another political organization to get that strength in Grenada? Is there ever a thought part of that nature?
Well, what I would say, there is no harm done if you are at a position where you need to collaborate, to have discussion on policies and where you do. Because I do believe, and I do believe that if we want to get this country where we need to get it, I think the political parties need to have a discussion. Okay. Healthcare, what we agreeing on? Agriculture, what we agreeing on this? Food security, what we agreeing on? What would be the official policy? So these are things that every government have to do. Now, if you can agree on some core things, whether one lose or win, the countries who do that, their progress far better, they're more efficient and effective when the political parties agreed that these are the 3-4 things we all agree on that we are going to do. We would get in there and tweak things a little bit, but the core would remain that we would want to achieve this in 15, in 25 and 30 years as a country. And if you want to achieve, then these are the things that we will do. Of course, there need to be discussion and collaboration between political parties. I do believe if we want to progress as a small island state, there need to be discussion happening. Why? If you want to see a company progress and you have change of CEO of leadership, if the company set some things that they want to achieve, when they're hiring the CEO, they say to him, these are things that we want to achieve in particular timeline that we have done. Now, there are things you may want to add to it, but these are our core. These are our core. And we want you to focus on it. You may change things with how you get there, but in 20 years, this is where we want to be as a company. When the CEO come in, he tweak, he do some things different, but he know what the ultimate goal is. I believe that if our country collectively come together and look at these things, and the political party who have the power, if they're not involved, getting the other political parties involved in some of the discussion that they're having, then you have a problem.
From a personal point of view for you, sir, and maybe it's a question maybe I should throw to your political leader. Why is there not that political growth in Grenada as we would like to see it be? Being a small island as we are, why is it not that political growth? From me looking in, who's not deep into the political realm, I see stagnation.
I agree with you.
I see stagnation. I just see it's just...
I agree.
Just same old, same old.
I agree.
Why is there not that political growth from your personal point of view, sir?
My personal point of view, one, this is why I'm involved.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons I'm involved. I see political stagnation. We're not going anywhere. And I believe it is because people, one, the education of our people comes from our leadership. Our prime ministers need to take lead.
Yeah.
It need to come from on top, right? They need to be able to push that whole development of our country and the dialogue. The people spend a lot of time on Facebook and condemning and trying to cut people down to pieces. Our leadership need to say stop.
Yeah.
The only how that you would begin to get some change in that, the leadership of our country have to say, listen, this is not where we want to go. You had the Honorable Tillman Thomas when you were in power. There's some things Tillman just wouldn't allow. And he said, listen, I'm not into that. He said, no, we shouldn't be doing that. He said what he believes in, and he speak to that, and people fall in line.
Yeah.
I'm saying that the stagnation happened because the personal interests of our leaders. They about themselves, what they want to see, what I want, and where I want to go, and not thinking in holistic approach of where the country wants to go. And our ministers fall in line, and then their political party supporters fall in line, and the country go back in the same way that we were. To talk about the tribalism, we are falling in the same way. It is sad. It is sad, and I go back to my own personal experience, and I need to share this. I remember Bishop Darius. When I invited him, and him were friends. We've been talking and chatting for a number of years. And I remember inviting him to come to preach at the St. George's Baptist Church. Even my leadership was worried about it and concerned pastor, the Catholic bishop coming and preach at our church. And I remember when he came and he preached about salvation. He preached about going to witnessing. And our church was quite taken aback by the sermon that he gave. My relationship with Pastor Gordon from the Seventh Adventist Church, or with Bishop Harvey, that is now retired here, Pastor Reverend Osbert James, who is from the Methodist Church, across the political divide, Pastor Kings Douglas. I mean, you talk about, I am friends of all, I'm enemy of none. Why? Because I believe if we collaborate, my effectiveness as a person, as a minister, has been because collaboration work, getting people together. I am my Seventh Adventist friends. Listen, I always call them friends because the reality of it, they worship on a Saturday, I worship on a Sunday, but don't tell me that I'm going to hell because I'm worshiping on a Sunday. I wouldn't say that you're going to hell because you're worshiping on a Saturday. I'm simply saying that we have common ground. I said one Seventh Adventist person. If you look at tenet, the belief of the Seventh Adventist Church and 10 belief of the Baptist faith, we are pretty much the same. What separates us is the day that we worship and pretty much some we hold to. I'm simply saying there is little that separates us as individuals and political parties, but is what we sell.
Yeah.
What you're selling is what people are buying. And if you can sell well, then people would buy what you're selling. And what has happened to our country, we have sell some bad pills to our country. People have swallowed it, they have digested it has infected their body, and so it has infected the country in the same way. I am saying we need a new direction. We need to think different. If we want to save our country and have it placed in a position of growth and development for the future of our country, there must be new leadership and change. And that's what DPM is offering. That's what Peter David is offering. That's what we are offering, something different, not the same. I'm clearly in my mind know that we are not offering the same thing.
We drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back in the final segment of today's program, of course, we invite our listeners. We have 10 minutes, of course, that we allow to our listeners and viewers to chime in on the program. 435-2041. Let's take a short break, and when we come back, you have the opportunity to ask a question or two as we move forward. Stay with us, folks.
This Emancipation Weekend, Freedom Takes the Sea. The Media Workers Association of Grenada invites you aboard Unscripted, the Freedom Edition. Friday, July 31st. Step into an unforgettable night of music, vibes, culture, and connection aboard the ultimate summer cruise experience. Meet your favorite media personalities, party under the stars, and celebrate freedom the unscripted way aboard the Ecstasy. Boarding is at 7 p.m., sailing at 8 p.m. Dress code Freedom Chic. Bold, stylish, unapologetically you. Tickets are limited and going fast. Get your tickets online at GoToFed and at recognized ticket outlets. Unscripted, the Freedom Edition, because the best stories are the ones you never planned. .30 artists, one stage, one champion. GBN Spice Up the Carnage 3.0 is here. After crowning Warner in 2024 and Dreadline in 2025, the search is on for Grenada's next breakout star. The competition kicks off Thursday, July the 23rd with the quarterfinals. All 30 artists battling for glory. Then it's the semifinals on July the 30th before the grand finals August 6th. Come to the Carnage, cheer on your favorite artists, enjoy unforgettable entertainment, win tickets for major Spice Mass events, and so much more. GBN Spice Up the Carnage 3.0.
Powered by Flo, Huggins, and Answer Coatings, with support from Grenada Film Company, Jambalasi Grenada, and Spice Mass Corporation.
GBN Massology is back. We're officially on the road to spice up the Carnage 3.0. And it all starts here. Live from GBN Studios every Friday at 1:30 p.m. Streaming across GBN platforms, bringing pure energy, culture, and Spice Mass vibes straight to your screen. Hosted by Charlton, powered by Graphic Sound System, featuring fresh faces and seasoned stars. Massology is what the culture takes center stage. WhatsApp 407-8458 now to secure your spot on Massology. And don't miss the repeat broadcast at 8:30 p.m. This is Massology, the heartbeat of Spice Mass. Don't miss it.
Life doesn't
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, once again. To the Point Classic Radio. We're in the final segment of the show this morning, which will give the opportunity to our listeners and viewers ask a question or two. And I beg of you to be very brief. Just ask a question and move on. Spare the long comments if you don't need to do that. Just ask a question and move on so we can entertain as many callers as possible. Let's go to the phone line. Our first caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
My call. And how are you?
Doing well, sir. Just go right through with your question, please.
Pastor Standford Simon, excuse me. Good morning. I have to respect to you. Judas and Jesus walked together. Remember that. Jesus and Judas walked together. Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too, sir. Have a good one. Any response to relation? Not sure
they walk together. The Bible speak to that. So that's
the caller via WhatsApp. You're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, morning GT.
Good morning to you.
And your bureau, and morning to Pastor Simon. He mentioned about we don't like to read, and that is one of the things that kind of provoked me to call. Because whenever I mention that, people get offended. But the thing about it, I would say that our problem, our biggest set of problem, is situated in 1983-84. When Grenada was being transformed into what is basically a U.S. colony, whether we like it or not. And right now in the United States, a recent research, a recent survey shows that only 18% or 16% of people read on a daily basis, except in addition to what they are required to read in a book or whatever, only 18%. And it is not fair to think that we are being made in the image of Uncle Sam, where even the leader, and I'll stop here, the leader, the one who ruled Grenada for the greatest period of time, when in the launching of James Mitchell's book at the mall, the Westminster Mall, said that he is not an avid reader. And in that case, have you ever seen any leader in Grenada encouraging people to read? Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much. You want to respond?
No, I agree. We do not read as much as we should, and that could start from home. Our parents need to encourage our children to read, and I really want to encourage parents to get books and encourage your child to read. Give them an assignment to read a book and to report back to you, to tell me what the book is about. They have to write it, but they can tell you that helps them to their knowledge increase, but also they get to be able to reason. It's important.
We have another caller. Caller Life, good morning, welcome.
Hi, good morning to you. And to your followers and to Dr. Pastor Simon. I must say I have not been listening avidly to what is going on because I'm preparing a document for half an hour. But I've heard little things coming through. And one of the things that I heard being mentioned just now, off and on, is a matter of political victimization. And so I know no system is perfect, and in every system sometimes it's not a matter of policy, but sometimes in practice individuals may do things which may, of course, be credited or attributed to the government that may not necessarily be a policy matter. But I would tell you, as someone who has never been a card holding member of any political party, I've never been to political party, meetings in the sense of organized committees or anything. I've never been to any such thing. I have been the poster child for victimization in the past. I could give you dozens and so many instances where I was victimized. But something stood out to me a few months ago when people were talking about not getting opportunities. I noticed, for whatever it's worth, someone who the ruling administration must have known was very closely affiliated to the official opposition, who was made the Speaker of the House of Representatives. And that person sat in one meeting and afterwards declared their hand and said they'll be a political candidate for the opposition. Now, doesn't that mean something? Doesn't it mean that the administration is willing to offer position at the highest level to people who they know, that they must have known, are not in sync with them as a party? I would like Pastor Simon to answer that question. When we're talking about the matter, we make a lot of noise. Political victimization, this, that. How does this one sit in that context? Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much.
Things do happen. We live in a country of 110,000 persons, small communities. Everybody know everybody, and there are persons who would make decisions and do things. You make a decision, realize that you made a bad decision, or a person, they realize that they're into this position, but they want to do. People could change their mind. People have the right to change their mind. I'm simply saying that yes, these things happen, and it will happen in a society like ours. We have to be mindful of the fact. We have to learn to work with people. The person who declare that I remember one person declared to me within my church that they don't believe what we believe. What did I do? Did I treat that person differently? Because I try to understand where they are. I'm simply saying that yes, it will happen, but we do not have to use that as the basis, because victimization, as I see it, and it's happening, it's too much. It's just too much across the political divide, and even presently it's happening, and it need not to be that way. That's my point.
We do have another caller via WhatsApp. Let's hear from you. You're live.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, caller. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, Mr. GT, you asked a question about the political stagnation, and Pastor Simon answered it. He mentioned about people's mindset, etc. And I think that's a great question. And I think once we identify the problem, the question is, what are we going to do to change it? Because unfortunately, part of our culture is that we talk about the past, and instead of addressing problems, we tend to say, well, you did this too, and you didn't do this when you were there, etc., etc. And we're stuck in the past instead of realizing that those shortcomings from the past, whether it's from me me or from someone else and so on, can be used to grow, to help us to grow, to get to that place where we desire to be. And I think anyone who has undergone growth in their personal life, educational life, professional life, they, as far as I know, face challenges, and sometimes those challenges seem unsurmountable. But it's recognizing those part of the thing, and we have a tendency to make people into saint because we support the political party, and the only person who is flawless is God and the Holy Trinity. There's no one else who is flawless. And I think that we have to change our mindset. I agree with that. But I think we have to have concrete plans to do that. And part of it is accountability. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much. And that was the wrap up our calling segment this morning.
All right. He's so correct. He's so correct saying that our mindset, one, accountability the other, and that's why people must go back to their constituency. And we think seriously, people need to be able to be recalled, to be able to answer. You need to be able to answer to your constituents. Yeah. And thirdly, I believe if leadership, our prime ministers, begin to be forceful in where we want to go, and to be able to say that, listen, we need to change the way that we speak about our opponent. Listen, I agree. When election comes, partners, you hit the ground hard. You really support your political party, do what you do. But after election is over, we need to be able to come together as a country and say, this is where we want to go. Yes, you support your political party, but let's put the country need to take first priority and not your political party. The problem we're facing now, that campaigning now is throughout the 5 years. That's the problem, and the support of the political party and is not discouraged. They continue to condemn and lie and demonize people like Trump and them is doing. Demonize people in such a way that they cease to be human. And that's the point, is they're going into their personal life. They're trying to destroy them, trying to destroy their family. What for? At the end game, if these same people are treated the same way, will they be able to take the scrutiny? No, they will not. If most of these people come out behind their computer board and come out behind their Facebook pages and be able to sit where I sit, they will not be able to take the scrutiny. They only do it because they believe they can hide behind something, and they do not have the guts, the belly, the tenacity to be able to look at people in the eye and say, look, I disagree with you. These are the reasons, and to be able to defend their position. That is critical. I must be able to say, and DPM is about saying to person, the leadership of Peter Davis, saying, listen, we want to transform the country. We want to do better with giving people better housing. We want to do better by giving people better health care. We want to have a transportation system that works. We want to have a agriculture system that works. We want to have energy that we don't have to wait if the boats stop coming, that we are stuck. We want to be able to do something different. This is what DPM about. It's about transforming leadership and the direction of the country, but most important, to see people live better lives. It's critically important for all of us, and we cannot do it on our own. We have to come together. I totally agree. Once election's over, we need to come together, choose the best mind, the best people around, to collectively come together to see the country move forward. Some people may say, DDT, that is hard, but anything that you have to do, that word doing, is hard. You have to be able to pay the price to do it.
Pastor Simon, that's where we're going to have to take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. It's always a pleasure, to converse with you, sir. It's always warms my heart to have a conversation with you. And thank you once again for popping in.
It's always nice to be here, and thanks to you and your listeners for the opportunity to share. And I say again, DPM is about people and transforming the lives of people. That's
all right, thank you. Hey, folks, that's where we're going to wrap today's edition of To The Point. I want to thank all who contributed. Thank you so much. It's our final edition for the week. Join me again next week for more, of course, of To The Point. That's what we say goodbye.